Are you feeling behind when it comes to your readiness for retirement, how much you have saved up? Number one, you're not alone, but number two, what should you be doing about it to catch up? I've got that and more coming up. My name's Mike Bernard. I'm the host of the Wise Money Show. I'm also one of the certified financial planners right here at Korhorn Financial Group. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and smash that thumbs up button. If you are feeling like you've got to play a little catch up, you are not where you want to be when it comes to saving up for retirement, good news is you're not alone. And second, I would just tell you that, certified financial planner on a team of CFPs, nearly 100 team members here at Korhorn Financial Group. We've seen every scenario. I've never seen a plan. I've never seen a situation where we couldn't build a plan, a workable plan to help someone get to retirement or get to their financial goals. So there's hope. There's hope. Recently saw this article here specifically kind of zeroing in on Gen Xers. Why Gen Xers? Because they're the alpha testers of the 401k system. The 401k it's a complete accident. It was an oops. It was not put into the Internal Revenue Code as intentionally a retirement vehicle, but that's what it's morphed into. And the Gen X generation is sort of started their career, or the oldest ones started their career when pension, I'm going to have a pension will be provided for me, Social Security is going to be strong and healthy, and yeah, I can save if I want to, but I've got these other sources, and that's changed completely. And so this article shows that they were sort of in the middle of two different systems, the pension world sort of trailing off and the emerging 401k world, and they got a late start for saving into 401k and have struggled to catch up. All of this concluding that roughly half of folks that are in this Gen X generation are feeling behind when it comes to retirement savings. And yes, there's time to catch up, and I'm going to tell you some specific things that you can do to catch up, but this generation, the oldest kind of cohort of this generation, is turning 60 next year, and everyone else is sort of in that retirement red zone or getting very close in these final preparations. So whether you're in that generation or not, if you're feeling behind, if you are behind when it comes to saving up for retirement, what can you do about it? How do you catch up? I'm going to give you 5 kind of pointed, kind of punch list sorts of things that you can do, and then we'll wrap it all together. The first thing is every dollar saved is critically important. Therefore, number one, make sure you're getting the full company match. Make sure you're getting the full company match. And you probably are thinking, of course I'm doing that. I'm behind in retirement. Of course. Some of these formulas are very tricky, and sometimes the formulas change. Sometimes, if you're a 2-income household, one of you is earning the majority of the income, and the other person maybe is working part-time, and so maybe you feel like, I'm getting the full company match, but your spouse is not, because their income is seen as more so side income. So number one, every dollar that you save up for retirement is vitally important, and so make sure that you're getting the full company match. That's task number one. Task number two is to pay off debt and then use that savings, that cash flow, to save up for retirement. I was just meeting with someone recently who they're part of their calculated on their own debt repayment plan was, well, we're going to get this debt paid off in around 8 years, and we built it into our budget, and this is a workable system. And I looked and said, well, if you sacrificed and if you really focused, how quickly could you get it paid off? Well, a couple. It would be a hardship. It would be a hardship, but we'd still be able to do some of the things that we want to do. We'd have to say no to some other things, but gosh, if we really focused and threw everything we could at this thing, we'd probably get it paid off in 2 years. And so, yeah, guys, if you're feeling behind when it comes to retirement, and especially if you're in this generation where you're maybe 15 years away, 10, 15 years away from retirement, time to sacrifice and really, really make some hard decisions. Pay if you've got debt. Non-mortgage debt, so consumer debt, whether that's a car loan, because cars have obviously gotten wildly expensive over the past few years, and therefore it costs more. Maybe you've got a loan, and maybe that loan payment is higher than you expected. Lots of people are carrying credit card debt, or maybe it's still student loans, or who knows what it is. But if you've got non-mortgage debt that is requiring debt servicing, sorry for geeking out, but requiring a lot of dollars every single month, that's in the way of you saving up for retirement. So get an aggressive game plan together to pay off that debt. And then instead of seeing your lifestyle creep and all of a sudden being able to go out to eat more or do some other things, well, that's fun. If you're feeling imbalanced and not on track for retirement, as you free up those dollars, direct them to retirement. You would be amazed to see how quickly you can catch up. That goes right in line with the third suggestion, and that is actually do the hard kind of budgeting work. Build out a budget, update your budget. Guys, I've seen so many people right now over the past couple of years feel like they can't. They don't want to do a budget. Even if they had one in place prior to the pandemic, they don't want to do it now. Why? Everything costs more and it hurts your feelings. It hurts your feelings. And so when you actually take a hard look and an honest look to say, how much are we spending? Where's the money going? It might hurt your feelings. However, you've got to deal in that reality and see where the money's going. And maybe then you can realize some things that you can cut. I mean, we just did this. Honestly, we just did. There were a couple subscriptions that we were paying for where it's like, the kids are sort of out of that stage. And yeah, maybe the next road trip, or maybe there might be a time here or there where they'll say, oh, I thought I had access to this. Yeah, but they're not using it enough to justify the money that we're spending every single month. So cut that subscription. So updating your budget gives you that visibility. But two, speaking of the kids, in this sort of last 10, 15 years before retirement, you're typically, if you've got kids at home, you're in the process of launching them into adulthood. And when you do that, they are, yeah, while there are fewer expenses, I understand those expenses are bigger. And so you might not feel a very quick reduction in the expense for your child. But eventually, as they kind of get self-supporting, you have more freed up cash flow, freed up cash, because you're not paying for their sports, you're not paying for their college, you're not paying for their rent, you're not paying for their cell phone, you're not paying for their car insurance, whatever. And those dollars, again, just like with paying off debt and directing them to retirement, as you free up those dollars, have them go towards retirement. Avoid lifestyle creep where all of a sudden we've got a little less pressure on the day-to-day cash flow. So I guess we'll be a little bit lax on some of the rigidity. No, aggressively increase your retirement savings to make up for that gap, or to use up that gap. Fourth, have an aggressive saving policy. So have an aggressive saving contribution, whether that's 15% of your total income going towards retirement, or whether you say, now we're going to max out the 401k and we're going to max out the Roth IRA, those sorts of things. But have a tax shelter strategy, but have an aggressive contribution strategy. Ideally, we're telling folks, if you're just starting your career, save 15% of your paycheck for your entire career. I don't think you can get in financial trouble if you start with that premise. Now, that could mean, well, I'm borrowing a lot of money and things get out of balance there. But for the most part, if you start by saving 15% from your first paycheck throughout your entire career, you're going to be in great shape financially. If you are listening to this saying, I've got a late start, it might not be 15%. It might need to be more than that. But work on that budget, pay off debt, like I said, work on that budget and have an aggressive savings plan, increasing how much you're contributing to your 401k, even Roth IRA. And then lastly, and guys, this is the first, I mean, these are in no particular order, but this is the most important, is you need to build out that 5-factor retirement plan so that you can see where you officially stand as it comes to retirement. You have a feeling that you are behind in savings. It's time to take a hard look and say, am I behind? Okay, so that 5-factor retirement plan looks at, well, when do you want to be done and what's your life expectancy? So the age variable, the age component. What's your spending going to be like in retirement? And so yeah, will you have debt in retirement? What's your normal lifestyle? What about vacations? What about healthcare? What about taxes? All of that's baked in to spending plus an inflation assumption. What are your income sources in retirement? So what does Social Security look like? How will you optimize Social Security? Do you have any other sources of income? Where do you stand? How much do you have saved up for retirement? And how much are you saving? Can you save more? And then lastly, how much risk are you comfortable taking with those investments? Do you want really low risk, so very little return? You want high risk, and so therefore there's a chance that there's going to be more fluctuation, but there's a higher potential return. Those are the 5 factors, guys. And when it comes to feeling behind on, with retirement savings, taking a look at those 5 factors, those 5 decisions to see what the result is. How confident are you? Does the plan work, or does it need to be adjusted? I've had a lot of people come in that are feeling behind, and when they actually do that 5-factor retirement plan, they're actually much closer than what they thought. And then that gives you the clarity to have that conversation of, well, what if I worked an extra year? What if we budgeted and spent a little bit less? What if we could budget and save a little bit more? What if we optimized or adjusted our Social Security strategy? You're able to look objectively at those 5 different factors to see how you can adapt and change your inputs to make sure that 5-factor retirement analysis, that 5-factor retirement plan, shows a confident retirement picture for you. That's the clarity that you need. That's the clarity that you need. So work with your certified financial planner on that. If you are feeling behind with retirement savings, you can catch up. You can get the clarity of where you stand and what you need to do to be on track. That clarity and confidence and the creativity coming from your CFP to help you get there. So work with them. If you don't have a CFP on your team, you can contact one on my team. Find us online, Korhorn.com. That's Korhorn with K, wisemoneyshow.com. You can find us there as well, or give us a call, 574-247-5898. All right, there you have it. Go out and take your next wise step in your financial life.